What's up, everybody? Well, I got another video for you guys today, and today we're gonna build me my new main PC. But before we start, I figured we'd go over all the parts real quick. So, for a CPU, of course, we're gonna go with the 9800X3D. There you go. I don't know if you guys can actually see it with all the glare and stuff, but we're going with the 9800X3D. I don't have autofocus on this thing because it really doesn't like it when I play video games with that on. So I probably should have just turned it on for the box openings though. But then we're gonna go with this 64 gigs Viper gaming memory. It's 6,000 mega transfers, and I think it was CL30, but I can probably tighten those timings up a little bit if I'm honest. So that's what we're doing for that. For an SSD, we're going with this SABRENT Rocket 5, 4TB little unit. I would have got an 8 if it was available, but this was the biggest one of Gen 5. So that's what we're using for storage. No SATA or nothing. We got ourselves some NH-D15 thermal compound from Noctua. This is some of the best stuff. I'm sure there might be something that beats it by a degree or two, but according to all the tests I saw, this was winning against everything, so I figured why the hell not? Plus, I got a Noctua cooler. And then for a motherboard, we're going with this MSI Mag X870 Tomahawk Wi-Fi. I heard really good things about it, so that's what I decided to go with. And then I'm doing all big chungus air cooling. So we're going with the Noctua NH-D15 chromax.Black. So that's what we're doing there. And then for our PSU, we're going with this ROG Thor 1200 watt Platinum 2. I would have gotten the Series 3, but I didn't see it anywhere. So I'll probably upgrade to that as soon as it becomes available. But for now, we'll just do with the Series 2. And then to show you the case, I gotta take you guys off the tripod just for a quick second. Focus, yeah. There we go. We're going with a Torrent. This is the RGB model, black RGB, and this thing should get us excellent temps. And it's still pretty damn big chungus, so we'll still have a pretty damn big chungus computer. And it'll probably just be called Big Chungus version 3 or something like that. We'll see. Maybe I can come up with a better name for it, but anyway, that's the components. So I'd say it's about building time. Well, all right, here's the motherboard in all of its glory. Pretty cool, I like it. It's mostly black with some yellowish accents, but I figure you could take a little bit closer look at it. There you guys go. It even has a plug down here, probably if you've got all this stuff populated for some extra power, I would imagine. And there's all the I/O, plenty of USB ports. Let me just focus for you guys. There you guys go. Gotta remember, no autofocus. Gotta do that myself. So sorry if some stuff's out of focus. And then on the back, no armor or nothing, but that's okay. But anyway, it's time for me to get that CPU installed. I think this thing just can boot with that right out of the box. I could be wrong, but I'm gonna try it. So time to get that thing installed. Well, all right, we got that CPU installed. It's always kind of terrifying dropping it in. Don't want to bend no pins, but it's super easy. As long as you don't get in your own head about it, you shouldn't have no issues. So now it'll be a good idea to install the RAM and all that stuff since I'm putting that big honker of a cooler on there. I messed that up on my small form factor build, forgot to put the RAM, and then I had to take the damn cooler back off to put the RAM back in. That was no fun. So we'll get all that other stuff installed on here, and then we'll try to get this into the case, I think. We'll probably hook up the power real quick, because again, it might be a little hard to hook those 8 pins with that cooler on there, I don't know. But anyway, all right, before I installed anything else, I figured I would install this little thing, but man, it has a pretty cool little metal carrying case and everything. And there it is. Man, that thing is tiny, but it's got stuff on both sides, so I gotta remember to peel the stuff off of both sides. But man, that thing is cool. 4 terabytes, I think this thing was like almost $700 or something like that. So this thing's pretty pricey for what it is, but damn is it fast. But anyway, why don't we install it into the thing? This actually had a pretty cool, I've never seen this before. You like push the little button and this just uncomes off. Don't gotta worry about nothing. It's pretty sweet. So I'm gonna get that installed and then we'll probably do the RAM. So we got everything together. We got the SSD installed. That was the easiest SSD install of my life. Everything's toolless and it just pops in, everything's good. Noctua was easy as hell. Everything so far has been so easy. I wish every build I ever did went this easy, in fact. But now, it's time for me to go get that PSU in there so I can route the cables, and before I probably even install this, unless it looks like it'll be easy enough or more than enough room, I want to probably plug this 8 pin in. I don't think you need to plug both in. I did that on my 13900KF just for shits and giggles, just because it looked better, but not really necessary there either. I think that's mostly for crazy overclocking competition kind of shit. But anyway, enough blabbery. It's time to get into that case. All right, real quick, I just wanted to show you guys this PSU. ASUS definitely, just like with the GPU, they definitely made this thing a pretty nice unboxing experience. So I figured I'd bring you along for that real quick. So you got like everything in here. It gives you a thing telling you what to do and what not to do. And you've got a big old baggie full of like a logo you can put on your case if you want. You got a bunch of Velcro ties and all that stuff, and some zip ties too. And then you get a big old bag of your cables. Then you get a big chungus cable thing here, or wall plug cable thing. All right, now will you come out of there? All right, at least this time I didn't break anything. Wow, that's a really nice looking PSU. Too bad it's gonna be completely covered. There we go. Now we can get that out of the way. And here's the PSU. It has really nice metal accents. I think that lights up. It's got a button on the back. What's the back thing? Ah, 0 dB fan mode. That's nice. So yeah, and I think this also lights up, but it's gonna be all covered in my case, unfortunately. But I just wanted to show you guys that real quick. I thought it was pretty neat. Well, let's look at the cables real quick too. What kind of cables do they give you with such a expensive thing? Oh, nice. Some of them anyway, like, I think these are, yeah, the PSU cables for the GPU. They at least give you some nice braided cables. Not all of them are like that though. Some of them are still the old rubbery stuff. What else do we got in here? All right, yeah, and the rest of the stuff you'd actually use is all braided, so you don't need to get a kit or anything like that. Although if you want to get some combs to make it look even better, you could do that. I don't know if this includes those, but that might be in that other pack that we got. And then, yeah, I'm not using any of this stuff anyway, so that's all moot. And I think that's for the, what is that? Is that the 24 pin probably? Yep, it's exactly what that is. So leave that out. And now it's time for me to get that into the big ass behemoth of a case. Well, all right, I kind of just decided to stopping every 5 seconds, like, hey, look, I installed the CPU cooler. All right, the whole thing is built. We've got it plugged in. I don't have the GPU installed yet. I just want to see if I can get it to post and actually work. I don't know if it needs a BIOS update or not. I didn't update that yet, but if it doesn't post, it probably just needs that. We got the monitor on. I think I have the system on, so let's see. All right, we're getting a 15. Now, it's the first post ever, so it might take it some time to train the memory and whatnot, so I'm not gonna just automatically go, oh my God, it doesn't work. Yeah, but it's doing something. It's definitely doing something. But what I want is a picture on my monitor. I still do not see the BIOS screen yet. Last time I had an issue with monitors and HDMI and all that stuff and getting it to post. But I know what the problem is. We didn't take our obligatory first hit that we usually take. There we go. That should help. That'll get things rolling. Normally I do that before I even try turning it on, just as good luck. Hey! And we got a new CPU installed, so it's gonna go into the BIOS, I think. Or maybe not. That's right, we need like keyboard, mouse, all that shit. But I saw a screen, so I think we're good. So now I think it's about time to get Windows installed, all that stuff. Then I will install the 5090 in all of its glory. Yep, it keeps on popping up with that one. Oh, nope, now it's saying, yep, let me show you guys what it's doing. I wished I could have just shown you guys before, but we got ourselves a BIOS screen. So we are in business. Oh yes, business indeed. So I'm gonna go get Windows installed, set up, what do you call it, Expo and all that stuff, because I mean, if it can't install Windows with that stuff enabled, I mean, what the hell good is this, right? All right, we're finally about ready to install the real GPU now, since everything else, got the BIOS up to date, got Windows up to date. I didn't download any thing like Steam or anything like that yet, but I figured this would be the best place to do it, since the other side of this thing is glass, and I am not trying to install that heavy ass Astral with the thing standing up. So I was like, well, let's bring it into my bedroom. So I'm gonna go grab that and install it. Originally I wanted to install it live, but there's really no way for you to see. Even if I bring my freaking camera this close, I mean, you can't really see what I'm doing here. It'll just look like a hand going down into a case. So we'll just cut and we'll just show the GPU once it's installed. Hopefully I won't break anything. That would really tick me off after all this time. Well, all right, guys, there the Astral is. It's installed in all of its glory. And hell yeah, this looked exactly like I wanted to. It's big chungus air cooling, and hopefully it'll get some pretty good temps. Probably get much better temps than my other 4090 did, just sitting there baking, having no air around it, really. I'm also excited to see what kind of temps it can get once I put it in that case, because that's the case the old main PC is going in. Got it for free with that PSU. Kind of funny. Yeah, it's very, very similar to the case I was using for my parts computer that's hooked up to my TV, and that thing kept shit real cool, so I'm actually excited. But in any case, I am excited to go and get this actually powered up for the first time. Hopefully it doesn't start on fire. Hopefully I didn't break anything installing it, but we will see. So let's go hop on in and hopefully it posts and all that still. Because if it doesn't work now, the only thing we changed was PSU or GPU, so. Well, all right, we have the whole thing built. We have the GPU in there, and that's the only different thing that's in there. So if it doesn't post and starts doing weird shit, we know exactly who the culprit is. But let's go ahead, hit power for the first time. All right, the screen going off I think is a good sign. Hell yeah. It's booting. Now, as long as we're not missing ROP, that's the next thing to do. This time I took my hit beforehand. Coughed my ass off, took way too big of one. Still got a little bit of cough. Shouldn't be smoking in the first place, but hey, it is what it is. Hey, and there we go. We're in, so we'll just put our pin in real quick. And then we got to go do ourselves some downloading, get the drivers and all that stuff. But I'm obviously not going to bore you guys with doing that nonsense. So instead, we'll just probably go to a frickin' montage. Oh, it's gonna install some stuff indeed. Oh yeah, my Razer microphone, duh. But anyway, I'm gonna go do all that boring stuff off camera, and we'll just jump into some fun B-roll of the shots of the GPU and all that shit. Well, all right, we got our other main PC in its new home as well. So let's see if it still works. It might need a BIOS update for the 1400K. I can't remember what BIOS I was on, and I completely forgot to update it like I was gonna do before I disconnected. I was too excited to get my new 5090 PC over there. So we'll take our normal hit we take before we try things out, just for good luck. Still not taking giant rips. I still have a little bit of a cough, so I don't want to sit here and take too big of one and then sit there and be like, whoa, 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 for like 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and then have to either edit out or start all over again. So now, let's turn it on. We got a monitor hooked up. Only thing I don't have is keyboard and mouse or whatever. I probably should do that real quick, but let's just see what happens. All right, well that's no good, but that might be because I hooked the button up backwards. Yep, button must just be backwards. Okay, well, it's turning on. Now will it post? Question. Might not, like I said, might not be the BIOS that can even see that CPU. Or who knows, maybe I broke something while I was putting it in here, I don't know. This Arctic cooler thing had me put some weird retransion bracket around the CPU. Nope, nope, it's doing something. There it goes. All right, it wants to run the setup, so let's grab a friggin' keyboard. I think I have one lying around. Man, hell yeah, we got our old Corsair K100 or something like that here. No, this is a K70, I think. All right, let's toss that down here real quick, get it all hooked up. Now, it might not recognize it, but usually these things work right out of the box. And then I gotta remember to go in there and mess with the power button, because obviously the power button ain't hooked up right. But let's go to F1. All right, well, we definitely don't want that disabled. We can always tinker and put my stuff back to the way I had it. All right, is that still on? Yep, it's still on. All right, is there an F7? Is that what button brought me to advanced mode on this thing? Usually that's the one. All right, I'm just gonna let everything else go stock, so let's hit F10, make that do that real quick, and it should post and boot into Windows now. And then I just have to go in there and I think I just have to flip the stupid power button around. I almost always hook that one up backwards. I followed the directions, but I guess it does matter which way it goes. I figured that one didn't have a plus and minus, so it didn't matter which way it went. But I guess I was wrong. All right, I think it posted. Yep, it's doing something. Now is it gonna go into, yep. All right, so yeah, besides messing up the stupid power button, we're in business, I think. Well, let's just make sure it actually gets into Windows. All right, that is not the incorrect pin. That is not the incorrect pin. Oh, I know why. There we go. And all right, same dancing chick around the NSX. Love that wallpaper. Love that car. If I could get an SX that looks just like that, oh boy, would I have fun. Although I'd probably get arrested in something like that in about 10, 15 minutes, let alone something like my Plaid. My Plaid's probably gonna get me into a shit ton of trouble. Yeah, I think I basically teleport places. Anyway though, I'm gonna go fiddle with that power button real quick, and then we're gonna get this thing put where it's supposed to be on the TV. Well, all right guys, we got the old main PC in its new case. We got the power button fixed. I found out what I did. I hooked it up to the damn reset switch. So of course it's gonna reset and not turn the system on. So now that's all taken care of. This case doesn't even have a reset switch, so I just put it where it needed to be, now it worked. And I think this thing turned out absolutely great. I wasn't even expecting the RGB. I thought this thing just had some blue fans. So now that we got all that out of the way, I think it's about time for a little B-roll before we moved on to benchmarks and all that good junk. to go and do some benchmarks. I might have said that earlier, but I think instead we did B-roll, but maybe not. Hard to remember. Pretty stoned, worked pretty hard building computers all day. Luckily, there was no huge headaches or anything. All of this went extraordinarily smoothly. So that's pretty awesome. Wish Pat's build would have gone that simple, but hey, it is what it is. At least we got it working. I just wish we could find him a GPU. He doesn't really want to spend $900 or $1,000 for a damn mid-range GPU. Well, who knows? If he waits around long enough, maybe I'll find something to replace that 4070 Ti Super with. Not that I'm really looking to, but that would at least help him out a little bit, but it's hard for me to find anything that fits in that tiny case. So I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm kind of stuck with that GPU until something way more powerful and smaller comes out. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let's go get benchmarks downloaded. I'm kind of just waiting for the games to get done downloading, but you can obviously not have to wait for that. That's just a me thing through the wonderful world of video editing. All right, so for the first test here, we got 3086 for single, 21350 for multi, and then here's the rest of the info about the thing. Now, just for fun, let's run the little GPU benchmarks too. All right, we got ourselves a 314,239 for OpenCL score. Here's the rest of the info on the system for those interested. And all right, I think with that, it is time to move on to the other GPU benchmark. I believe it's Vulkan. So this time around, we got ourselves 28,000. Or no, that's 280. Okay, I was going to say, I'm stoned. It's 281,514. I was going to say, how did we get such a low score? Anyway, here's the rest of the stuff. So now it's time to move on to the next bench. All right, so we got 2,173. Unfortunately, couldn't quite beat out the old CPU, but that thing's not. It has an older BIOS, and this new BIOS probably limits performance a little bit, is my guess. Plus, I haven't tinkered with anything yet like I did with the old one, so it is what it is. So now, let's go see how single core fares. All right, now for single core, we got 137, which I'm pretty sure is right around what the 9800X3D got. Maybe 1 or 2 points behind or ahead, or exactly the same even. But I guess we'll find out when we get to the new computer. Obviously, I'm putting this one first, because otherwise this will look terrible in comparison. And it's still a nice computer, don't get me wrong. First up here for FireStike, we got 44,584. Now my score can't quite match the average, but I don't have like the best 4090s. They were kind of just, one's a mid-range one and one's kind of an entry-level one, so they never were going to win any competitions on these kind of benches. But anyway, you can have a quick look at the rest of the scores there. And I think now we move on to the next test. So now for the FireStike Extreme test, there's our graphics scores and all that stuff, but we got ourselves 37,242. Obviously, we got nowhere near the best. Can't even quite get close to average on this particular test. But it is what it is. I still like my 4090 and all that stuff. But let us now move on. All right, so now for FireStike Ultra, we got 24,908, which is good. Oh, hey, look at that. We finally actually beat the average a tiny bit. Not by much, but hey, I'll take whatever teeny victory I can get in a benchmark like this. I wouldn't expect to win any of these. Well, now it's time spy time, and we got 33,777, which does seem to be a little bit better than the average. Obviously, nowhere near the best. Then you got your graphics score and CPU score up there and all that good stuff. But I think that's probably good, so why don't we go ahead and move along. Now for Time Spy Extreme, we got good, but we couldn't quite beat average this time. We were right there, though. Just a couple more points, and we'd have been right there on average. But alright, though. Why don't we now move on to the next test? So now for Port Royale, we got 26,942, which is a little bit better than average. That's always nice. A little bit older benchmark, but still fun to do. So, with that, let's move on to the next one. So, now we got the Steel Nomad score here. We got 9,488, which apparently is great. We actually beat average by quite a bit. So, apparently it really likes my system. Alright, though.
let us now move on to the last test. So now this time we got 10,557, which is excellent. We got, yeah, we're quite a bit above average yet again in this one. So that's cool. Seems like in the newer stuff, I seem to be pretty competitive. In the older stuff, not so much. But in any case, though, let's go have a look at what the temps got up to. All right, well, here's all the stuff in the hardware info. Looking at it through here, it actually looks pretty small, so you guys probably won't be able to see anything. But I'll try to read off the important stuff. The CPU did get up to 100 degrees, probably during the Cinebench run. I don't think it would do that during games or whatever, so we did get some throttling and whatnot. I was definitely expecting that. I was barely able to keep it cool with a custom loop. There's the RAM. So the motherboard got up to 35. See, not too bad. The RAM got up to 49 maximum and 47 maximum. Here's the drives. Seems like 34 max, 52 max for the M.2. And then the 4090 only got up to 70. Nice. Yeah, all it really needed was a case with airflow. That thing used to get up almost to 80 degrees during some of my testing before. And then that's pretty much that. We can scroll all the way to the bottom here, but I doubt any of you guys, most of you guys probably won't be able to read this. I should have made it bigger. But whatever. Now, let's go and see how the new PC compares. Well, for single core, we got 3,302, and then multi, 18,147. So this thing beat out my old PC in single, but I was not expecting it to beat it out in multi-core. That would be nuts. And here's the rest of the random info for the people interested. And now we move on. So for OpenCL score, we got 347,505, which I believe is a little bit better than the 4090. At least it better be. I don't think it's like gargantuanly better, but I do believe it's a little better. And then we just scroll through the rest of that stuff real quick for those interested. And now, let's go do Vulkan. Now this time around, we got 378,174, which I do believe is quite a bit better than the 4090. That thing I think was like, what, 288K and some change? Which I sat there trying to say 28,000 because I was all being stoned at the moment. I had a good laugh though. Anyway, why don't we move on to the next test? So we got 1339 from multi, which isn't as bad as I was expecting, really. We even beat out a 32 thread, 64 thread, or what was it, 32 core, 64 thread processor. Even though it's an older generation one, that's still impressive to me. So I'm pretty sure this thing could still handle some mild editing and whatnot, just not as good as a 14900K or things with more cores. All right, so we got 134 for single. I actually think the 14900K beat it out in the Cinebench run here. Now, it's obviously not super scientific tests or anything. I didn't let it run through its throttling and all that stuff. I just hit go once and went because I knew I had lots of benchmarks to do and it would take way too long to sit there for 10 minutes for each of them. So, now, on to the next test. Well, all right, we got 62,676, which doesn't actually beat out average. I'm actually a little surprised. I figured this Astral thing would just, kick ass and at least do a little better than average, but hey, I haven't done nothing to it. Haven't done nothing to the CPU. All I did on this thing was enable Expo. Haven't tinkered with the RAM on either of my new PCs I built today. So, on FireStike Extreme here, we got 47,112. Still couldn't quite beat average, but that's alright. Once I tinker with the thing, I'm sure I can at least beat average with this thing. And even if I can't, I don't care. I'm still happy to have my Astral and my new PC. It's pretty damn awesome, in my opinion. But anyway, why don't we use this opportunity to move on to the next test. Now for Ultra, we got 31,443. Almost was average this time, but not quite. But alright, I'd say it's time to move on to the next one. Alrighty, we got 36,555. Still couldn't quite beat average. About 100-ish points behind, not too bad though, considering I haven't done nothing to this thing. But alright, on to the next test. Alright, we got 18,797 this time around. Still didn't beat average. But I mean, my other GPU didn't either. Not in, it only won, or was a little better than average on a couple tests. So this one hopefully will at least be average in one or two of them, or what have you. But even if it's not, it's all good. Well, now we got 37,358 for this score. Still not average though. But I think I can do pretty decent once I like try overclocking it and whatnot. But for now, I'm just gonna leave it stock. Just until I know it's not going to start on fire, you know? Well, now for CL Nomad, we got 14,682, and we actually got a great score. And we were a little bit above average this time. See, I knew we could at least do it once. Anyway, though, we now move on. All right, we got 14,621, which is good, apparently. We beat out average ever so slightly. Sorry, no data available. Okay. So now with that out of the way, let's go on to the next one. All right, so here's all the temps and whatnot. Unfortunately, it's way smaller than I was expecting it to be. I don't know if I can do anything about that in editing, but if I can, I'll try. But I'll just read off the important stuff. We got like 89 for max temp on the CPU. But didn't throttle, I don't think. And that's probably during the Cinebench run. I don't think it's ever going to get really that hot during any other things. Maybe during shader compilation. Alright. The system got up to like 49. MOSFETs to 48. The chipset apparently 44. Alright, the memory got up to 46 on the one channel and 45.2 on the other. I think the one that gets blocked from airflow probably gets a little warmer. Alright, that's the dang integrated. We don't care about that. So we only got up to 67.9. Nice. It even beat out the temps of my 4090. But it isn't a wind tunnel. And it's never been messed with. But wow, it got up to 600 watts. Sheesh. But never throttled, nothing bad happened, so that's good. We did quite a few tests on it, so I feel like if it was going to go poof, it probably would have by now. Alright though, I think that's probably good. You guys probably can't read that anyway. Hopefully I can fix that in editing, but if not, sorry about that.
Well, alright guys, that is a wrap for this video, and I'm gonna definitely do the gameplay videos tomorrow. But that's going to require a bunch of downloading, so it might take a little while. I also want to do my Ninja Turtles videos on the Steam Decks and all that stuff tomorrow, as well as getting that Until Dawn video done now that I got 14900 KF, or not K, it's just KF, it's a K. It's actually got a CPU or a GPU on it, so that's nice. So, hopefully now it'll actually let me in that game, and if not, then it wasn't the CPU's fault at all. But it was showing all the signs of being degraded. Although this one needs some tuning for sure. It was getting up to frickin' 100 degrees and shit, and I saw it hitting 1.5 volts or shit, and that's probably gonna degrade like crazy. So, definitely needs some tinkering, because I'm not using it to like edit videos anymore, so don't really need it to be like super crazy high. I just want it to perform decent in games, that's all. But in any case though, hopefully you guys enjoyed this little escapade of mine, because I sure as hell enjoyed making it for you guys. And until the next video, peace out guys.